Hi, this will be a demo of how to construct this VI for assignment 3, demonstrating generating two signals, displaying them on a single graph, and then also displaying them on XY graph to demonstrate Lisajous figures. At the same time, using number of controls to be able to provide those variable frequencies of the signals and variable phases. So to do that, I'll show the demonstration in the end, but first how to construct the VI. Basically what you'll need is two express simulate signal generators from your block diagram by going to signal processing, waveform generation, and simulate signal option. And then what will happen is you'll get a block function that you can put on your block diagram, and then it pops up like a widget that you can alter all the different functions for it. For example, what type of signal you want to generate, the amplitude, the frequency, and all those. Just leave the settings for this as they are and just click OK. Alright, so in this case I'll delete that because otherwise it's going to muck up the VI. But basically once it's on your block diagram, you can expand the function of that express signal generator, as you can see here. It gives you all these other options, like what sort of signal it's generating, whether you're providing any input for the amplitude if it's more than one or whatever, what sort of frequency you want to provide, which is like, as you can see in here, by this variable knob, which is that one there. So you put that on the front panel, and same if you've got a second signal, you do the same thing. You have a frequency knob for that one. Then what you do for one of them is at least provide another knob to give the phase difference between the two waveforms from 0 to 180 degrees. You can make it 0 to 360 degrees, but there is no need because they're sort of like mirror image of each other from 180 to 360. And then you also need this reset signal to both of the signal generated express VIs, and that has to be enabled via like a on-off button that has to be on. So every time you change this phase, this input here, so you can view the display of XY plots between the two waveforms. So as you can see here, this is not running at the moment, but you can just see the effect of one waveform is twice the frequency of the other, which in this case the range of frequencies you need is like 1 to 9 hertz. Doesn't have to be much faster. And then just by varying the ratio between the two, like 1 to 2 or 2 to 1 and so on, you'll be able to see all the Lisajous figures like the one on the web page and be able to repeat that. And then by varying the phase angle here between 0 and 90 degrees usually, you'll see the various shapes of the Lisajous figures happening at the same time. Okay, so let's actually run this, and now it's running. As you can see, if I adjust this to 1 to 1, the two signals are in phase, they're overlapping each other. Now this graph combines the two signals from this one and plots it on the same graph, and then also those two signals are put into the XY graph and plotted as a straight line, as you can see it here. If I just shift it up a bit, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So now if I vary the phase difference, you can see all the effects like what you saw on the web page. Different angles, like 45 degrees, it's like an ellipse, and then going up to 90 degrees, phase difference almost becomes a circle, and so on, and then it goes to like another ellipse on the opposite side, and 45 or 135 degrees the other way, and so on. So you can do all these measurements and play around with all the Lisajous figures. So now that's as much as you need to be able to demonstrate running this. So you can play around with all these, just double check that all works. So let's just go a little bit further. To plot these on the same graph, you obviously put a graph on your front panel, and this is just a waveform graph, and this particular XY graph is what they call express XY graph, not just the XY graph. The express XY graph gives you another blue wizard in front of it where you feed into these output signals from the signal generators into the two inputs for the XY graph, so you get the plot as you can see here. And in the same way, you take the two signal outputs from sine wave 1 and 2, and you just basically merge them before you put it. You just basically wire them to the front of this graph on the block diagram, and you'll see them combine in the block diagram, sort of like a inverted Y combination. And then you can label all these, changing the labels and all that sort of thing around here. And one of the other major things is just having this stop button or a while loop over the whole thing, so when you press the stop, it stops the program. So that should be enough to guide you through on how to design this VI and demonstrate the two signal generation and view the Lisajous figures at the same time.